There were once extensive ponds at Azraq. As a basis for animal life, they also attracted people. The community recognized the significance of the oasis and decided, long before it ran dry, to protect the area. The Royal Society for the Conservation of Nature, or RSCN, is behind the protective measures. This society cares for 8 conservation areas throughout the country. The Azraq Nature Reserve played a significant part in the formation of these areas.
Shomari Wildlife Reserve was the first protected areas to be established by RSCN. That was in the 60s, and also in the 70s Azraq Wetland Reserve was established as the second protected area.
The RSCN has its origins at the Azraq Lodge, a former British military hospital dating from the 1940s. At the time of its foundation, the water shortage was of no importance.
Long time ago, there were a few hunters who used to hunt here in Azraq and used this lodge as a hunting club. So with time, they noticed that there's a problem of decreasing game species, and they decided to do something that they come under it to conserve this game species. And with time, it's developed from hunting club to the Royal Society for the Conservation of Nature.
Right from the start, the RSCN had the task of maintaining the state of the conservation areas. But despite their efforts at Azraq, the oasis ran dry. The animals, which the RSCN were intending to protect, disappeared together with the wetlands. It was not until 1993, 2 years after its drying out, that concrete measures for rehabilitation were introduced. The intended goal was to rehabilitate the 2 larger main ponds, but the first countermeasures were unsuccessful.
The area behind us is a main spring. It was a main spring. It's a soda pool that it's very important pool in the past. It has disappeared in the early 90s.
The RSCN was finally successful through the preservation of other areas where part of the groundwater was pumped into the ponds. After this artificial preservation, 10% of the original area was regained in 2017. But for the inhabitants, nothing is the same as before. Due to the declining number of animals that need to be protected, hunting is strictly prohibited. Access to the pools are also restricted. Despite this, the rehabilitation of the wetlands is important for the inhabitants.
Switzerland is supporting the region of Azraq to provide water specifically to the refugee population, but also to improve a bit the surrounding settlements. That is also why we decided to support Azraq Wetland project with a small initiative to increase the capacity of the wetland to show the nature reserve here in the region.
The approach at Azraq is also significant because it is combating the symptoms of the water shortage. Based on this, the inhabitants can be shown the consequences which can result from poor handling of resources.
Azraq is one of the areas where a lot of schools are passing through, also a lot of visitors from the region, and it is very helpful to show what actually the dynamics in the water cycle in Jordan are and how the overpumping of water is affecting the whole range of nature and of resources at the long run.
The major long-term problem continues to be the actual water shortage itself. If no countermeasures are implemented, not even artificial irrigation of the area will save it for future generations. Other solutions will be necessary to solve this problem.